Welcome to the Big O Money Show. Bill Altman here, Premier Advisory Group, right here on 120th and uh, between Blondo and Maple. Stonegate is the drive. We're right on the corner there. You can't miss this big American patriotic flag. It's beautiful. It's huge, wonderful. We love it. Right between Moleholes and Culver's, you can get your plants and get your burgers. Stop in for some advice. Life is good. Tony Shore is with me today, back again. I think there's a song about that. Can't remember the name of it though, but he's back. Tony, welcome. How you doing?
All right, I'm back in an Omaha state of mind. I'm really doing well on the Big O Money Show, right?
The Big O Money Show, Tony.
Here on
That's
the
right.
KFAB Nation. So,
Yep.
Bill, excited about today's show. Fun to talk with you again this week. We've got a good one, and I wore a special shirt today. I don't know if our YouTube viewers want to see this, but
Wow, it's beautiful.
it says, "Is Bill here?"
Yeah.
That's a question everybody wants to know. When you walk into a room, what do people want to know? Is Bill Altman here? That's the question.
Typically.
Yeah.
So I got back, Tony, from a whirlwind trip. It was global, to the tune of the Southeast Conference. I went from Omaha. I took Michaela and Braden back to college. I didn't take Braden back. He actually flew on an airplane, one of those jet planes that fly into the sky like Amelia Earhart. He flew on one of those. And he went back the same day that he went back. Danielle, Michaela, and myself drove at 4:30 in the morning to Knoxville, Tennessee, straight through, stopped in St. Louis. Shout out to Blues City Deli. We stopped there every single time we go through St. Louis. Yes, folks, it's that good. It's good. So we stopped there, got a sandwich, continued on the route, got into Knoxville, got Michaela moved into her apartment.
Nice.
I will tell you, Michaela's, I thought she was a very low maintenance individual. But she was much harder to move in than Braden. I will tell you that. There was more stress. There was more stress on the old, on the pocketbook, as they say.
Sure.
She moved into a real nice place there, right on campus, sophomore year, pre-med student, got her all going. And then from there, we went to Auburn, because remember, Braden flew in.
Yep.
To Atlanta. From Atlanta, you have to take a 90-minute shuttle over to Auburn. He got all moved in, or he was there waiting for us. Get Michaela moved in, celebrated her birthday on August 14th.
Oh, fun.
On the 15th, Danielle and I hop back in the old pickup truck, and we head down to Auburn about 5 hours. So we got about 14 hours down to Knoxville, 5 hours over to Auburn. We got Braden moved into his own apartment. First time living on his own without roommates. Senior year, aerospace engineering. He's doing good. He's going to graduate in May. Hopefully, I would imagine he will. That would have to be a lot that happens if he doesn't. So I'm sure it's going to happen. He'll graduate, doing all his senior capstone, senior design, looking for jobs, applying, all that kind of craziness going on. Lots of that going on. Got him moved in. Facebook Marketplace was fantastic. We got couches and end tables and the whole 9 yards. Only
easier to please the guy when it comes to furnishing than it was Michaela, I bet.
And Michaela's place was furnished.
Oh, yeah. But she still had to have
like things hung up in walls and Braden, it's push pins, like we hung up a flag,
right?
Like the fraternity flag on the wall with push pins.
Yeah,
little things like that. So, they're doing good. So we got him all taken care of. Hop back in the car. We got back earlier this week, and we had about a 16 plus hour drive back from Auburn, and we came in straight through.
Oh, you didn't stop. You
Went
made
through 5 tanks of diesel in the Biggie. That's the round trip though.
in the Denali, huh?
Yeah, it's an oldie but a goodie. We're
Oh.
getting about 125,000 miles on her right now, but
Oh, wow.
she operates. She's
Oh,
an
yeah, that's a
operator.
nice vehicle, yeah.
Yeah, I should have put the snow blade on her and did it too, just to, you know,
The snow blade.
just in case, in
People
the
would look
winter,
at you driving down the highway in the summer with a snow blade on,
especially
like,
in the South.
well, in the
Yeah,
South, they wouldn't know what it is. They'd be
yeah,
like, "What is that?
that's a
What
pusher.
what's that guy doing?"
Yeah, moving dirt.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got that. So that was a whirlwind, 2,331 miles,
Oh,
point one. So 2331.1. And that was fun. We had a good time, but they're off. They're off to the races. And
wow.
so our summer is officially over. Yay. So it might not be like summer is over on like
Yeah,
the whole liturgical calendar. That's not right, right? But that's Catholicism.
sure.
But the summer is over for us. Grace is back in school. Grace is
Yep.
golfing. Grace is a senior in high school. First golf tournament was this past Thursday, actually, Thursday morning at the old Miracle Hill Golf Club, golf course there on
Nice.
120th. And so she's doing her thing, and that's fun. And she's looking for colleges at probably Southeast Conference, but her grades are good. Her ACT scores are good. So all of that's good, Tony. That's what we're doing, man.
Wow.
When we're 6 minutes in, and we're talking about, a bunch of stuff going on in Bill's life.
Yeah.
How's Tony's life?
Really good. I've been busy recording. Voiceover work keeps me busy, and my parents trying to babysit them, visit them. They're not doing so great. It's just gradually getting worse. But had a great visit with them last weekend, so I'm happy for that. And just all our kids are grown and out of the house. So we don't have that, when you have kids that are in high school or school and college, it's a definite end. Okay, they went back to school, summer's over. We don't have that. Our kids have been graduated and out of school for a while now. So
Sure.
it's just kind of hanging on to the summer. Everybody here is waiting for the great Minnesota get together, the Minnesota State Fair, where over 200,000 people a day will visit the state fair.
That's fantastic.
The
And I'm sure
largest
Jay Garrett's going to go on his food tour, right? And do
Yep.
some ratings. Yeah.
Jay Guerin goes at least
Uh-huh.
4 times a year
Okay.
and rates all the foods. It's what keeps him healthy, all that fair food. You know
Yep.
that. You know
Yep.
that, Bill.
No. So that's great. A lot going on.
Yeah.
And, it's the time of year, right? That summer is a time for families really to come together, and hopefully they're able to.
Yeah.
And everything's different. Every family's different the way that works. But it's a time to you think it's a time to unwind a little bit, but I feel it's kind of just it winds up, for me. The normal business life, the day-to-day operations, in those other 10 months of the year, 9.5 months of the year, that's kind of like the normalcy. That's the wind down for me, because we've been doing it for so long. It's very systematized. We understand it. Tony and I were talking pre-show. What's going on out there in the economy right now? Nothing. And it's silly to say. A lot's going on. Obviously, we know that there's a lot going on. Diesel prices. Geez, I was filling up at $5+ a gallon on the regular. 509, 519, 529. It's like, holy smokes. And then I was seeing. Remember, diesel's a byproduct of the creation of gasoline that you put in a non-diesel vehicle. Okay.
Right.
And so you think it would actually be a little bit cheaper. It used to be a little bit less expensive.
Yeah. Diesel
Um,
used to always be, or a lot of the time would be
it's like
less
a
expensive.
$1.50 more now.
Weird.
What I'm seeing. So
Yeah, it's $5.29 or $5.49 here, diesel.
it's chunk. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
expensive.
a
I mean,
lot.
$170 in a tank, and I got a 36-gallon tank. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I'm just saying, that's changed. And again, oil prices up a little bit. Trump says the strait's open again. It's always open or it's closed or something's going on, or I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, we say it's open, and then a few days later, Iran says no, it's closed, and it's a mess. It goes back and forth so often.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament of, well, we talked a little bit too, like on this day, of things happening. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
sure,
these wars overseas, especially with the Middle East, have been going on for longer than any of us have lived at times 1,000, right? I mean, they've been going on forever and ever and ever. And they're going to probably continue to go on. Will at some point there be some magical peace treaty, or do they really want a peace treaty? Is this just leverage? Is this a game that's just being played on the political front? And it's kind of in the background, but it's really not in the background because we see it and it plays into our everyday life, right? With gas prices and and you got, say, you had Memorial Day and you had 4th of July and you have Labor Day, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, you have all the driving, you have all the flying. What happens with fuel prices and, how's that all work out? And that stuff, that's a little, it hurts. It hurts the pocketbook. How do you afford it? Look at rent prices today. Tony, you probably, your kids are in a, as are mine, but your kids are in a time of life where there's rent being paid.
Yep.
Right. And trying to find an apartment, trying to find something reasonable. I don't know if that word really exists anymore. The word
not in rent or house prices, especially rent. I don't understand how there's a lot of rent out there that's way more than your mortgage payment would be.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And then and then affording a mortgage and affording the insurance on the home that you purchase or the condo that you purchase, and then you have the property taxes on it, and then you have the utilities. I was talking to my mom actually on the way back from our worldwide Southeastern Conference trip, and she was telling me about my sister who lives in Carlsbad, California. And her name, her nickname is Toonie. Okay, but her real name is Beth, so we'll call her Toonie for the show. And so Toonie had an electric bill of over $1,000. It's in Carlsbad, California. It's on a 3,000 square foot house. So an average house, not a big house, not a small house, right? Yeah. Just a normal kind of house. But $1,000 on her electric bill. Now remember, the temperatures are fairly moderate there. So this isn't a place that they're running AC like we run in the Midwest, where we're cranking it and it gets to 100 degrees, and these things are working like crazy. Or my office, I'll run $1,000 on my office, but we've got 3 AC units, a bunch of square feet, blah, blah, blah. And it's not even a big office, right? But in California, when you're not using really a whole lot of energy, right, and you're still running $1,000, well, it puts crazy. A little dent in the old pocketbook.
Oh yeah.
Or you go to Colorado, and it might be true in California too. You go to Colorado and you get your water bill, and it's like, and I have friends in Colorado, and it's kind of like, hey, take a shorter shower than normal. Seriously though, these are things that come up.
Sure.
And it's because their water bills are so darn high. Oof. Everything has gotten so expensive. So from our fuel and our groceries, and the clothing, inflation it's here. We know inflation is here. This isn't a secret. I don't think it's going away. Food and energy, once again, we've talked about it. It's not included in core inflation for a reason, because it is volatile. And all of a sudden, a whole new supply will open up somewhere, or the strait opens up, and we're, real good friends and golfing buddies with Iran. And, and they're like, oh, cool, it's all good now. You can have our oil for free. And then oil prices go back down to $1.89 a gallon. and it's like, oh, okay, fantastic, and then all of a sudden we get in another fight, like,
Right.
went to the bar and got a little drunk and came back, and people were fighting each other or something, and so the next day they're like, well, I'm going to get back at you and raise oil prices. I have a feeling it's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't think that's really the story of what happens and how it happens.
You
However,
never know. I
isn't
mean,
that the way it feels, though, kind of
it's
sometimes?
exactly the way
It's
you
like, "Oh, did you talk to my girlfriend? Did I see you over there talking to my girlfriend?
it seems
Okay,
petty at this point,
yeah,
doesn't it?
watch oil prices go back up tomorrow."
Yeah,
Things like that. I'll do that to you. That's not the way it happens, people, and that I'm just being facetious. But it is a real thing, and it's something that we feel in our own pocketbooks on a regular basis. So how in the financial planning world do we plan for that? It's kind of tough to plan for that, but we really try to shoot low on our projections. So even if I know a certain portfolio, has a long-term track record of 10% earning, 10% growth year over year, I will never put that on somebody's projection, their compass report of how this is going to do, right?
sure.
You might see on a full growth portfolio that you might see like a 6 or a 7, and I might put the bond market at a 3 or a 4, or your annuities at a 3 or a 4, or your money market at a 1, and your cash at a 0.5 or a 0, and then your overall projected rate of return is like 4.68%. And people are like, geez, 4.68, you can't do better than that. I said, well, yes, the market has done better, but right now we're stress testing the portfolio. So
Yeah,
if we can operate at 4.5% with the distributions that you need, how much do you need per month? I need $12,000 a month, 12,000 gross or 12,000 net. I don't know, Bill. I need 12,000 to hit my bank every single month after taxes. So that's 12,000 net, right?
right.
And so I need 12,000 to come out of my account at the investment company, and I need 12,000 to go into my account at my bank, and that's what my spend is, right? And so can we do that with your assets and project a lower rate of return than what we believe would probably happen?
Yeah, that's how you stress test
Yeah.
a financial plan and your finances, and you got to do that. I think coming in conservative like that, it's like the old phrase: you under promise and over deliver.
Well, you almost have to, because we don't know, and we're not doing it selfishly to make me look really good on a review. I mean, that's,
Right.
maybe it's part of it, but no, I'm kidding. It's not, but, we're doing it because we truly don't know when the next shoe is going to drop.
Right.
We can see where earnings are solid. Yeah, well, Walmart slipped a little bit, but they have good, forward projections, and the health market, the as for like the pharmaceuticals are booming. Well, you got all the Ozempics and all their other crap going on right now, and they're saying the GLP-1s is a GLP-1. The GLP-1s are now I was watching the news last night about the extension of life. They can, they're thinking that these might actually extend people's life and increase life expectancy. Well, geez, that's exactly what our social security system needs, is increased
Yeah.
life. I'm kidding. I want
Living
everybody to live
living
forever.
living even longer.
You
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
stress testing something, have people live longer.
Yeah. Yeah, the
But
good news is we're living longer. The bad
yeah.
news is we're living longer.
Well, and I think people are getting more healthy, and I think they're more health conscious,
Yeah.
as time goes on, and as we learn a little bit more about, the dyes that are put in food and the artificial ingredients and how things are actually made. You saw Burger King recently come out, and man, I'm a Whopper fan. I don't eat them anymore. I have a goofy soy allergy that's been more recent than not. So fast food is not my friend.
No.
Soy is in about everything, so I have to
Oh,
be pretty careful. It's not something that I need like an EpiPen for, but it's something that just doesn't make me feel good.
kept my
So you're
grandfather in business for 101 years, soybeans.
We have soybean. We have corn and soybeans. We've been rotating on the old farm in Erling for 100 years.
Yeah,
I was walking soybean. What's funny is though, back in the day, I'd come back in from walking those beans, and man, I would really feel like crap.
Yeah, me too.
But I just thought it was me.
I walked those beans. We'd walk and pull weeds and pick rock and walk up and down every single row, right?
I'll tell you what, though. You know what old Rocco told me on the farm? He was like, "Oh, we had you do that? Yeah, we have machines that did that for us." And I'm like, unbelievable. So he was just getting the kids get these little rats out of the house for a while. Yeah. Go walk 100 acres of beans or whatever.
Yeah.
And pull some weeds. I don't know if that, but he did tell me that. I don't know if he was.
Farmers now don't. Farmers now don't have anybody walking beans. They use sprayers and machines. But when I was a kid, when I was young, they had a whole crew. They would have like 10, 20 people out there walking up and down every single field. And we're talking about 400 acres of fields.
No, right, absolutely. And that's great, right? That's great for humans to do and to experience and to realize what's going on. I try to make sure my kids understand all that kind of stuff of what's going on. And it would be nice to kind of get back to it. So we have certain industries right now that are booming, and we have certain industries that are kind of lagging. And isn't that the status quo? I want to say that there's something amazing happening. What should happen? What will happen? What did we see American Airlines recently do? We're revamping all of our narrow body planes, the planes that most of us take regionally. If I fly to Minnesota, if I fly down to Atlanta, even, it's on one of those, 2x2s. Or maybe a 3x2 at the best, sometimes a 2x1, where I'm saying 2 seats on one seat on the other, or 2 seats and 2 seats. You get the drift, right? Mm-hmm. So the small body planes, we're we're revamping it. We're adding more seats that are more the comfort size. We're adding more first class seats. We're putting full high def screens in every single seat on all these narrow bodies. Remember, when we've been talking about years that the whole air travel industry needs to be revamped, right?
Yes.
And we are now seeing it, and it's going to continue to happen. It's going to get better, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better, because that's capitalism, and that's just America. That's what we do, right? And that's beautiful, and people are going to start demanding it. First, Tony, before we leave, we're starting to run out of time, but we do have a couple things in history that have happened. So we talk a little bit about wars and craziness. Back in 1996, Osama bin Laden issues a message entitled "A Declaration of War Against Americans Occupying the Land of the Two Holy Places."
Huh.
I mean,
on this date, and that's on this date in history.
Yeah,
right?
That's on this Sunday in history, 1996, almost
August 23rd.
And it's kind of like, wow, what is this on, like, repeat?
Right.
It's like deja vu. I mean, we constantly hear these type of things.
Yeah.
And, then we have in 2005, Hurricane Katrina becomes a category 5 over the Bahamas, right? It's nonstop things. It's just on the cycle of repeat. Going to be a little bit different, but a cycle of repeat.
Yep.
So what do we have to do? We have to prepare ourselves to know that it's going to happen again, and we don't have a crystal ball, so we prepare us. We prepare us financially. We have a good sound income plan. We have a good sound investment plan. You have a good sound tax plan, and you have a good sound bill. And that's me, Bill Altman here, Premier Advisory Group with Tony Shore, 402-557 6730 here in the Big O, 402-557-6730. And you can always go to bigomoney.com.
All right. And that does it for today's episode of the Big O Money Show with our host, Bill Altman.